Hello everyone and welcome to chapter 7 lesson 4 having clause. In this lesson we are going to learn how to use having clause in select statement. Having clause is used to restrict and filter rows retained from the group by clause. So let's have a look at this sample of data from the employees table. So here in the employees table we have department ID 10. The salary of that employee is 4400. We have two employees in department 20. The first employee earns 13,000, the second is 6,000, and so on. Let's assume that we want to return all departments where the maximum salary in that department greater than 10,000. So in this case, first we have to group the data by the department. So this is group 1. This is group 2. This is group 3. This is group 4. This is group 5. What is the maximum salary of this department? It is 4,400. This is 13,000. This is 11,000. This is 6,500. This is 8,000. Is this value greater than 10,000? No. Is it greater than 10,000? Yes. Is it greater than 10,000? Yes. Is it greater than 10,000? No. Is it greater than 10,000? No. So here in this case, department 20 and department 30, only the maximum salary greater than 10,000. So if you noticed here, we are grouping the data by department ID and then filtering the data based on the maximum salary. So having clause is used after the group by the clause. So here, as we can see in the syntax, having clause follows exactly the group by clause. Select list from table where condition group by and then the having clause, and you can order the data if you want to sort the data. Let's have a look at these examples to understand how to use having clause in select statement. Select department ID average salary from employees table, group by department ID having average salary greater than 10,000. Just keep in mind, after having, you must use group functions. Select department ID average salary from employees, group by department ID having average salary greater than 10,000. So here Oracle first will group the data by the department ID and calculate the average salary. So for example, department ID 10, department ID 20, department ID 30, 40, and so on. The average salary per each department, for example, this is 1,000, this is 2,000, this is 7,000, this is 10,000, and so on. And then filter and restrict the data based on the having clause. After doing the group by and retain the output, he will do the filtration by using the having clause. Having clause based on group function. Having average salary. This is the average salary for each department. Is it greater than 10,000? No. Is it greater than 10,000? No. Is it greater than 10,000? No. And so on. He will retain only two records. Department 110, the average salary is 10,154, and department 90, and this is the average salary. This value greater than 10,000 and this value also greater than 10,000. So after grouping the data by department ID and retain the average of the salary for each department, he will do the filtration and restricting the data based on the average salary. In the second example here, select department ID sum salary sal from employees where department ID in 80, 90, 110, group by department ID having sum salary greater than 10,000, order by 2. So here Oracle will process the where clause first. Filter the data from employees table by using the department ID 80, 90, and 110. Then Oracle will do the group by and calculate the sum of the salary for those records retained by the where clause. So he will group the data. This is department 80, this is department 90, and this is department 110, and calculate the sum of the salaries for each department. This is the sum of the salary for department 80, this is the sum of the salary for department 90, and this is the sum of the salaries for department 110. Then he will filter the data using the having clause. He will filter the data. If there is any records to be removed from the list, he will remove it. And last thing, he return the output. Order by 2 means order by sum of the salary, so he will order the data by the second column. The low value comes first. So this is the output from the select statement. So first, Oracle will filter the data based on the where condition. Then he group the data based on the department ID, calculate the sum of the salaries for each department, and then filter or restrict the data based on the having sum of the salaries greater than 10,000. And last thing, order the data by using the second column. So in this lesson, we learned how to use having clause and the select statement. I hope this video was informative for you, and thank you for watching.